What's up everybody, it's Joe with Joseph Blake Photography, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the 4 easiest ways to get photos from your Canon DSLR or mirrorless camera onto your phone. So maybe you're a content creator doing short form video or doing photography, you're out in the field and you're not gonna have easy access to a laptop, or maybe you don't use a laptop at all, you're smartphone only. Let's talk about the 4 ways that I think can make that the easiest for you depending on the situation that you're in. Before we jump into talking about transferring photos off of your Canon camera onto your phone, just a real quick plug for the channel. My name is Joseph Blake. This is Joseph Blake Photography. And on this channel, we talk about technology, we talk about news, reviews, and how-tos for creating content and the tools and technology that we use to do that. If that's something that you're interested in, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, go ahead and set up notifications for my channel, and you'll be alerted whenever I post new videos. Also, if you're on Instagram, go ahead and find me over at jblakePhoto. But enough about me, let's talk about getting photos off your Canon camera and onto your smartphone. So let's say you're out in the field or on location or wherever you are, and you are looking to do some photography or some videography, and you want to be able to get that onto your smartphone. So we're going to use our little demo Vitruvius here from the Lego movie as our model. I'm going to put him right down in front of my MacBook here. And we're going to go ahead and this is the Canon EOS R, and I have this adapted with an EF to RF adapter with a Canon 50mm 1.8 lens, the Thrifty 50. And we're gonna go ahead and take just a little shot of this guy right here. 1, 2, 3, big smile. Excellent. Okay, so I've got that photo now on the card on my camera, and I wanna go ahead and transfer it to my smartphone. So now I'm going to be using the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Any iOS modern phone will be just fine, and I believe that this works the same way on Android. Through the steps here. So we're going to go first, we're going to press the menu button. And the menus are going to be a little different depending on which Canon camera you're on. You're going to go into this little wrench icon here. And then in this particular camera, it's on tab 5, which is wireless communication settings. I'm going to tap on that. And I have the option to select my settings and which function I want to do. Okay, so first things first, we're gonna go to Wi-Fi settings and we're going to enable Wi-Fi. Now, we're going to need to eventually connect to a Wi-Fi network. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back and we're gonna go to Wi-Fi function. And we need to register a nickname. So we're gonna call this EOS R. That's gonna be the name of the camera, at least for me. And now we're going to select from one of these 4 options. Now, one is to connect to a smartphone, one is to connect directly to a computer, one is to connect to a printer, and the other one is to connect to a web service. We're going to start with the web service. And we're going to hit I agree. And it's going to ask us to connect to a Wi-Fi network. And it's going to ask us to connect to a Wi-Fi network. So I'm going to scroll through here and find my Wi-Fi network. And then it's going to ask what kind of IP setting you want. I'm going to just stick with automatic, let my router decide. I'm going to use the email address that I set up my Image.Canon account. And now it's going to ask me to set a 4-digit code. And this code is going to be the code that I plug in to my app once I get it set up. I got an email from Canon saying that I am ready to set up my device. I just need to go ahead and sign in. And now I'm going to confirm the code that I used. Now, once it confirms my code, it will let my camera in. There we go. So now what it's telling me to do is once we're done, I'm gonna hit OK, and then I'm gonna hit refresh, and what it's gonna do is it's gonna go out onto the internet and say, okay, I'm connected, and what service is connected, and it's gonna automatically download the appropriate web service information for the Canon Image.Canon account. Really quickly, I wanted to talk about Image.Canon, which is Canon's online service. It is only available to Canon camera owners. So if you don't own a Canon camera, and you have registered on the Image.Canon site, you won't be able to use the service. It is not a backup system. It's kind of a relay service. It's designed to allow you to automatically upload from your camera to the Image.Canon service, and then through various means, whether the mobile app, like we're going to talk about in this video, or directly to your desktop using some of the download tools that they have, it'll automatically connect your photos to you. There are unfortunately a few caveats, though a lot of their cameras are supported. As you can see on this list here, there are a lot of cameras that are relatively new that do not support RAW upload, only JPEG upload. So you won't be able to upload RAW photos for all of their cameras. And if you do have one of the cameras that supports RAW upload, just know that the Android version of the Image.Canon app does not support RAW downloads. So basically a newer Canon camera for RAW upload and an iPhone for RAW download. So while Canon has said pretty clearly that this is not a storage or backup system, this is a relay service to be able to get your most recent photos off your camera and onto your computer or smartphone. They have started offering a paid service, not to allow more storage. They've said they're not going to do that, but to do cloud, I guess, processing of your RAW files using neural engines to improve the quality of your photos. Currently, this is only available on the absolute newest cameras from Canon, which is the R3, the R7, and the R10. Pricing on those plans varies, but I will say that some of the pricing on this is just some of the strangest that I've ever seen. So it's $4.99 US for 31 days worth of processing, up to 80 images. But you can actually purchase another 80 for another $5. Now that that's done, you'll see there's a new icon on my screen here, which shows the Image.Canon account, and I can go in there and it will connect directly to that service. So now it's gone ahead and automatically switched over to that image that we just took, right, of Vitruvius. And now I'm gonna go ahead and hit set, and it's gonna ask me what I wanna do. I want to send the image shown, and you can also send a whole card, send a range of images, or send a particular set of selected images. But I'm just gonna send the existing image, and it's gonna send that up to Image.Canon. Now this can take a little while depending on your Wi-Fi speed, the connection, a lot of different factors. I would not be expecting to upload video files. Okay, so now the image was sent. I'm gonna hit OK. So in the app, I'm gonna go ahead and tap on EOS R, and there is our image. But now let's say that you do not have access to Wi-Fi. For this next section, we're going to connect the phone directly to the camera. Now you can connect the camera directly to the phone using the same Wi-Fi network, but we're gonna go ahead and connect it directly using Bluetooth first, and then it'll attach using Wi-Fi. I'm gonna go ahead and clear all of these settings. And the reason that I'm gonna do that is because I wanna start over to show you how to connect this, assuming that you do not have Wi-Fi. So now we don't have Wi-Fi, but we're gonna go ahead and go back to that Bluetooth function, set it to enable smartphone, and hit OK. And now it's gonna ask us again to register a nickname. I'm gonna keep the name the same and hit OK. And then I'm gonna go over to pairing. And now I'm gonna do the pairing the same way, but what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to turn off the Wi-Fi on my phone. So I'm turning off Wi-Fi. I'm gonna go ahead and hit the menu button right next to the Bluetooth icon here, and I'm gonna hit scan. And it automatically picked up the EOS R. I'm gonna hit OK, and now it's gonna pair. But I'm not connected to Wi-Fi with either of these devices, but I want to get the photos. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to hit images on camera, I'm gonna hit EOS R, and now it's connected. So I want to get the photos off of this camera, though I have no Wi-Fi. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on Wi-Fi settings, and I'm going to enable and hit OK. So now Wi-Fi is enabled, and I'm going to go back. I'm going to hit Images, and I'm going to select the EOS R. And what it's going to do is it's going to create its own Wi-Fi network from the camera. The camera will actually create its own network, and your phone is going to ask you to join it. And it's going to connect to the network that the camera has actually started to broadcast. So it broadcasts its own very small Wi-Fi network. Once that is established, boom, now you can start accessing your photos. Okay, so now we photographed our little guy, and we've been able to transfer them onto our smartphone using Wi-Fi and the cloud. Both Wi-Fi inside the network and also from creating or literally broadcasting a Wi-Fi network from the camera. Now, not all Canon cameras can do this. Here is this is the Canon EOS 7D Mark I. This thing actually shoots with compact flash. This does not have Wi-Fi of any kind, and neither does my OG Rebel XSI. This is a 450D, but it does have SD cards. Okay, so we're trying to get things onto iPhone with an SD card. Okay, so I've got something for that. Okay, so I've actually got two things here. One, this is what Apple used to call the camera connection kit. It's an SD card reader with a lightning dongle on the end. If you have Android, or if you have a device with USB-C like an iPad Pro or iPad Air, you can actually just use any SD card reader that has USB-C on it. Now this is still sold by Apple, and it is $29, which is ridiculous considering what it is, but when you're in a pinch and you need to get your photos onto your phone, and you're using an iPhone and you have Lightning, this is the way to go. If you're using CF Express, this is not for you. The issue is, even though I think this is actually one of the least complicated ways to get your photos into your phone, the Lightning connection is USB 2.0, which means it's kind of slow. And if you have a lot of photos on this particular card, it's going to be slow reading the card and preparing the view that you get when you put it on, when you put it together. So let me kind of show you what that looks like. All right, so we plug that in, and now we're in the Photos app, and you can see immediately that there is the import button down here, which I'm going to tap on, and it's going to take me right to that card, and there is my photo. And when it imports, it does import the raw file, and then you can do whatever you want with it. Okay, so that is using the camera connection kit. It's actually kind of the simplest and easiest way to do it. The Wi-Fi is nice if you don't want to have to get right up on the camera, if you don't want to pull the card out. But man, it's simple, slow, but simple. The Wi-Fi really isn't that much faster, to be quite honest. But here's one more thought. Now, the Lightning connector is still USB 2.0, but there's this other thing that Apple sells, and it calls this a camera connection kit or camera connection USB 3 tool. I think this one's USB 3. It might be USB 2. I'm not really sure. I'm gonna go and check to see if I can plug this straight into the camera. Okay, so I'm gonna connect this to my iPhone. Okay, nothing's lit on fire yet. And I have a cable that is USB 3 on one side that I'm gonna plug in, and USB-C on the other. Okay, so now let's take our card. We're gonna put it in the camera, and I can see the two photos that we have. Got everything kind of wired together. Let's see what happens. Oh, I have an import icon. Would you look at that? It works. And it wasn't terribly slow. Okay, so I guess we got a bonus option here. Apple camera connection kit and the SD card reader. So that's exciting. So that worked. Okay, so we went through 4 or 5 really different ways that you can connect your camera to transfer photos to your iPhone. So number 1, you can use Image.Canon to transfer your images to the cloud from your Wi-Fi enabled camera. But remember, you're gonna need a Wi-Fi hotspot or some sort of Wi-Fi access. Number 2, you can use Wi-Fi within a Wi-Fi network to directly transfer them to your phone from your camera, or you can use the camera's access point feature where it will actually broadcast its own Wi-Fi network using a Bluetooth connection initially to find the camera. 4 was to use the Lightning to SD card reader option from Apple. And 5, surprisingly, was to use the USB to direct to camera option and to use your camera effectively as a reader. That should work with any camera that is using SD for this device and any camera that has USB for this device, because I know most of the Canon cameras will act as a reader. Let's try it with this old one. Let's see if this will work on an old camera. There's a cobweb in there. Okay, it's mini USB. Hold on. I don't think this one's gonna work, but it's worth giving it a shot, right? This, and then we got plenty of battery, so it should be fine here. Okay, let's see. Moment of truth here. Oh, it works. It's slow. It works. This is a 15-year-old camera. I think you got plenty of options. Thanks for watching. If you like videos like this, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Go ahead and hit like on this video if you think I worked hard enough. It's hot in here. And I'll see you in the next one.